Okay, well, hello everybody again. This time I'm reading to you from my new book, Testaments of the 12 Patriarchs, Insights, the Testament of Simeon, the second son of Jacob and Leah. Chapter 1. The copy of the words of Simeon are things which he spoke to his sons before he died, in the 120th year of his life, at which time Joseph his brother died. For when Simeon was sick, his sons came to visit him, and he strengthened himself and sat up and kissed them and said, Hearken, my children, to Simeon your father. I will declare unto you what things I have in my heart. I was born of Jacob as my father's second son. My mother Leah called me Simeon, because the Lord had heard her prayer. Moreover, I became strong exceedingly. I shrank from no achievement, nor was afraid of aught. Wasn't afraid of anything. For my heart was hard, my liver was immovable, my bowels without compassion. Because valour also had been given from the Most High to men in soul and body. From the time of my youth I was jealous in many things of Joseph, because my father loved him beyond all. And I set my mind against him to destroy him, because the prince of deceit set forth the spirit of jealousy, and blinded my mind, so that I regarded him not as a brother, nor did I spare even Jacob my father. But his God, and the God of his fathers, sent forth an angel, and delivered him out of my hands. For when I went to Shechem to bring ointment for the flocks, and Reuben to Dothan, where were our necessities and all our stores, means necessities really, Judah my brother sold him to the Ishmaelites. When Reuben heard these things, he was grieved, for I wished to restore him to his father. But on hearing this, I was exceedingly wroth against Judah, and he let him go away alive. Talk about Joseph. And for 5 months I continued wrathful against him. But the Lord restrained me, and withheld from me the power of my hands, for my right hand was half withered for 7 days. 14. And I knew, my children, that because of Joseph this had befallen me, and I repented and wept, and I besought the Lord God that my hand might be restored, and I might hold aloof from all pollution and envy, and from all folly. For I knew that I had devised an evil thing before the Lord and Jacob my father on account of Joseph my brother, in that I envied him. And now, my children, hearken unto me. Beware of the spirit of deceit and envy. For envy rules over the whole mind of a man, and suffers him neither to eat nor drink, nor to do any good thing. But it ever suggests him to destroy him that he envies. And so long as he that is envied flourishes, he that envies fades away. 2 years therefore I afflicted my soul with fasting in the fear of the Lord, and I learnt that deliverance from envy cometh by the fear of God. For if a man flee to the Lord, the evil spirit runs away from him, his mind is lightened. And henceforth he sympathizes with him whom he envied, and forgives those that are hostile to him, and so cease from his envy. Right, that chapter I just read straight through the original text of the Testaments of the 12 Patriarchs. I didn't give you any of the cross-references or the comments there. I'm going now to chapter 2. This time I will give some of the comments, give a bit of variety. But it's a short chapter. I can read it straight. So chapter 2, Israel, Judah and Levi. Judah became the tribe of the kings, Levi the tribe in Israel of the priests. So, chapter 2 from Testament of Levi. And my father asked concerning me, because he saw that I was sad. And I said unto him, I am pained in my liver. Comment number 1. Why is Simeon pained in his liver? He seems to affirm that his liver is hurting because of his sins and iniquities, and in particular his bitterness and ill treatment of his brother Joseph, when he sold him as a slave when Joseph was 17 years old. The patriarchs mention the different organs in the body as also having connections with our actions and deeds and sins. This is a very interesting concept. Verse 2. for I mourned more than they all, because I was guilty of selling Joseph. And when he went down into Egypt, and he bound me as a spy, I knew that I was suffering justly. I grieved not. Now Joseph was a good man, and had the Spirit of God within him. Being compassionate and pitiful, he bore no malice against me, but loved me, even the rest of his brethren. Beware therefore, my children, of all jealousy and envy. Walk in singleness of heart, that God may give you also grace and glory, blessing upon your heads, even as you saw in Joseph's case. Proverbs 27:4. Wrath is cruel, anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Verse 6. All his days he reproached us not concerning this thing, but loved us as his own soul. Of course, he's talking about when they were down there in Egypt. His brothers and his father. And beyond his own sons glorified us and gave us riches and cattle and fruits. Comment 2. Joseph was in many ways an excellent sample of forgiveness to his brethren that had done him evil and injustice, like the Christ. Joseph could have had his brethren killed when he was at the right hand of Pharaoh. However, he chose not to, but to try them and see if they had changed from their evil ways. When he saw they had, he rewarded them all when he passed the test. Such a beautiful story of love, mercy, and forgiveness. Verse 7. Do you also, my children, love each one his brother with a good heart, and the spirit of envy will withdraw from you. Comment 3. Let the light in, the darkness will flee of itself. Verse 8. For this makes savage the soul, destroys the body, causes anger and war in the mind, stirs up into deeds of blood, leadeth the mind into frenzy, causes tumult to the soul, and trembling to the body. Comment 4. Frenzy is another very evil demon. Verse 9. For even in sleep malicious jealousy gnaws, and with wicked spirits disturbs the soul, causes the body to be troubled, wakes the mind from sleep in confusion, and as a wicked and poisonous spirit, so appears it to men. Comment 5. An interesting description of a demon of jealousy which has sharp teeth that gnaw on a person. Song of Solomon 8:6. Set me upon thine heart, as a seal upon thine arm. For love is strong as death, jealousy is cruel as the grave. The coals thereof are coals of fire, which hath a most vehement flame. James 3:16. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work. Verse 10. Therefore was Joseph comely in appearance, and goodly to look upon, because no wickedness dwelt in him. For some of the trouble of the spirit the face manifests. Comment 6. This is a good point. That the face of a person starts to reveal what kind of person he has been during his lifetime. Kindness and a gentle, humble disposition shows on a person's face, as does also wickedness of different sorts. As it had been said, eyes are the window of the soul. Verse 11. And now, my children, make your hearts good before the Lord, and your ways straight before men. You shall find grace before the Lord and men. Comment 7. Look at the contrast today, when seemingly anything goes, with no moral rules. Total madness and insanity are seeking to take over, so that chaos will rule. Well, that's the plan of the Satanists, but it's a plan that will fail and be defeated by God himself. Verse 12. Beware therefore of fornication, for fornication is mother of all evils, separating from God and bringing near to Beliar. Beliar being Satan, of course. Comment 8. Who's the mother of all evils? Revelation 17:4, the great whore. And a woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colour, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Verse 12. For I have seen it inscribed in the writings of Enoch, that your sons should be corrupted in fornication, and should do harm to the sons of Levi with the sword. This is amazing how Levi can see the future here. Just amazing. Comment 9. The book of Enoch does indeed describe the history of Israel from its beginning unto the new heaven and new earth or new Jerusalem. It also predicts that many false shepherds would lead Israel with a few good shepherds. Looking at Bible history, some leaders of ancient Israel did indeed try to kill the Levites throughout the period of the kings of Israel. Here the word Levite is referring to a person that is totally dedicated to God and to prayer and supplicating for the people. Sometimes Israel had prophets and priests who exhorted the wicked kings of Israel to turn from their wicked ways, such as Jeremiah. The kings either killed them or put them in jail. In Jeremiah's case, he was put in jail till rescued by the conquering Babylonian Empire and its king Nebuchadnezzar. Many times God miraculously protected his Levites, just as predicted in above verse 13. Verse 14. But they shall not be able to withstand Levi, for he shall wage the war of the Lord, shall conquer all your hosts. What's that talking about? Invincible person coming? Comment 15. Here the patriarchs are prophesying about the future relative to our time, and as mentioned in Revelation chapter 19, where the King of Kings and High Priest Melchizedek himself comes to slaughter the wicked and those who oppose the truth of the love of God at the Battle of Armageddon. The complete story, see Revelation 19, 11 through 21. Revelation 19, 15, 16. And out of his mouth goes a sharp two-edged sword, which shall smite the nations, and shall rule them with a rod of iron. He treads the winepress of the fierceness of the wrath of God. Revelation 19:16. And on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Comment 16. Levi here is representing the truly righteous warriors who fight for the Lord in spirit and who cannot be defeated, because the King of Kings is their leader and God, who is also high priest of the order of Melchizedek, as related in Genesis 14:18 and in great detail Hebrews 7. Hebrews 7:3, a description about God's high priest Jesus in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Here's the New Testament. Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God, abides a high priest continually. Beautiful verse about Jesus. Verse 15. And they shall be few in number, divided in Levi and Judah, and there shall be none of you for sovereignty, even as also our father prophesied in his blessings. Comment 17. Israel did indeed become few in numbers in 70 AD, when the Romans kicked out the Jews from Israel. This action was prophesied and mentioned by the 12 patriarchs as happening as a coming judgment upon Israel, because Israel would kill their own Messiah. Imagine the patriarchs predicting that event of the death of their own Messiah some 1700 years before the birth of Christ. Well, that's the end of that chapter. Hope you found that interesting. Next time I'll read the next chapter from Levi. It's 5 chapters to the Testament of Levi. And the next one is called A Prophecy of the Coming of the Messiah. I'll read that next time. Bye for now. I hope you like that. Make sure you get my book, Testaments of the 12 Patriarchs Insights. I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. Bye for now.